Subaru WRX STI. It's a phrase that will put a smile on many a petrolhead's face all over the world. It's a cult vehicle really, originating from the 90s. Who will ever forget the rally cars driven by Colin McRae and Peter Solberg? The recipe has always been the same: flat 4 turbocharged engine, all-wheel drive and giant slaying performance. And obviously, this huge wing at the back. This car has always been a favorite with tuners that will modify it to heart's content. The previous generation car we've got here has already got a liquid wrap, giving it some added attitude. To talk about this car is a bit of an injustice. We should really go and drive it. In this previous generation WRX STI, the interior wasn't really anything to look at. You had hard plastics everywhere and it really looks a bit old school. If you talk about styling in this car, you're really missing the point, because this is a driver's car par excellence. It's really mechanical in feel. It really punishes your mistakes as well. If you go for the wrong gear at the wrong speed, the car actually hates it. But when you get it right, this car flies. It is powered by the famous flat 4 2.5 litre turbo petrol engine, delivering around 221 kilowatts and 400 newton meters. Coupled with an all-wheel drive system is good enough for a 0 to 100 in less than 6 seconds. In the STI is also fitted with a central differential where you can actually vary the torque split between the front and the rear, which gives you added control.
From behind the wheel, there are a few important differences compared to the previous generation. Get inside and you immediately notice the upgrades to the interior. There's new screens, I can see the boost gauge there, throttle input in percentage, there's a little screen for the air conditioning, and then a new infotainment system with a TomTom navigation. First of all, this chassis has been stiffened up. That includes several suspension parts, and you can feel it from behind the wheel. It's as if the car feels a little bit more substantial. It's a whole new body, but from the driver's seat it's not a lot different. Yes, like I said, the chassis has been stiffened up, but if you floor it, it's still that torque and combination of power, but it's not faster than the previous generation STI. However, drive them back to back, and the biggest difference that you notice is the steering feel. With the previous generation STI, it was very loose. It feels like you want to almost spin the wheel. Little feedback, very light. With this new car, it's a bit heavier, and you do get not a lot of feedback like with a rear-wheel drive car, but there is more feedback. It's heavier, and you feel more in control than with the previous generation STI. Down here in the transmission tunnel, we still have the SI drive, and actually, even if you play with it, you quickly realize that Sport Sharp should actually be the default setting, because you want that throttle sensitivity to be there, especially being a turbocharged car. Otherwise, there's still the diff settings which you can play around with to make it a bit more rear biased, or you can obviously lock it. Although Subaru say they've worked on the gearbox, it still feels very similar to the previous one. Having said that, it's still a short throw, a very positive effect you get from it from shifting gears. Visually, the new STI is all new. Nose section, the grille, the lights, a bit more aggressive than the previous generation. Moving to the side, we've got new wheels, and then this car is also fitted with the aero pack, which includes a small black front splitter and wider side sills. And everywhere you still have that small pink STI logo. At the rear, the aeropack continues to add a bit of visual drama, especially between the exhaust pipes. As before in the previous STI, there are 4 exhaust pipes, and I said it's a whole new body except the wing, which is the same one as the previous generation STI, but that doesn't really bother us. Being a performance car, it's a bit disappointing that you don't get any additional power or Newton meters from the engine. It still delivers around 227 kilowatts and just over 400 Newton meters, which is the same as the other STI previous generation we have here today. You would have thought maybe they've made the car a little lighter. It's actually about 1 kilogram heavier. Yes, it is stiffer, and some weight disadvantage goes into if you make the car stiffer, but Subaru has used high tensile steel in the new car, but we would have liked to see an increase in power and torque. As these cars come from a rally background, I think there's one more surface that we need to test them on.
So we had a lot of fun today driving the WRXs on tar and on dirt. And yes, I would agree that the new version is much better looking and much more refined inside and out. But Wilhelm, would you say that the powertrain is essentially still the same?
Yes, especially from behind the wheel. Still all-wheel drive, good grip. The feeling through the steering wheel has changed a bit, but otherwise, yeah, essentially the same experience.
Where would you say then does this vehicle fit in the current modern marketplace?
Well, I think it's a bit different. It's like we've got the A45, it delivers 265 kilowatts, also all-wheel drive, but it's as if the hot hatch market has moved past these cars.
In the current market where dual clutch transmissions and launch control is the norm, the WRX still offers something unique to the buyer. The mechanical feel, the all-wheel drive, the short throw gearbox. There's just nothing out there that would really compete.